Alright guys, we're back with some Trails of Cold Steel. And unfortunately, you guys probably have went a few days without seeing me upload. And there's a reason for that. You're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? You've uploaded twice now. That's because what you're seeing now is me recording during the issue. You guys, it probably won't seem like it. It probably won't seem like you know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna write in the description of the first video that'll come out for y'all to explain the situation that I'm about to sort of go into right here. I've been on a bit of an unlucky streak, as you know. Your boy's been sick, busy, and then I had the eye problem where my eye was irritated. That's cleared up though, thankfully. No stuffy nose either. I'm feeling pretty good actually. Outside of the fact that you guys you're not going to be getting any uploads for it. Who knows? Probably a few days. Because our router messed up. Yes, our router messed up. And now we're going through having to deal with the company and them going back and forth with, oh, we can't do it right now because there's an outage going on and all of this other nonsense. So we're just trying to figure all of this out. It's kind of stressing me out, but it is what it is. If I still got the time to record, I'm gonna record. And honestly, it kind of works in my favor because you guys were caught up with me. But now I have a bit of time to, you know, create a little bit of distance, and that way you guys can get uploads back to back to back. Anyway, I think we already finished talking to everyone, so hold on. This track hard. There it is. This bulletin is to inform all Thor students that preparations for today's military exercise are now complete. Please assemble in the hangar immediately. Your transport is standing by. I repeat. That's Instructor Nineheart. The time must have passed more quickly than I thought. I suppose I should start making my way toward the hangar. Maybe I'll run into the others on my way. Or maybe you will. We boarded the armored cars and set off toward the proving grounds. Let's see what this exercise is gonna look like. And we're really about to ride in one, huh? Don't you guys miss riding out in the SSS Jeep? Good times, man. But also sad times at the same time. The inside of the armored cars was narrow and cramped, and the smell of machine oil hung in the musty air. The car shook and rattled over the uneven ground, tumbling us around like an iron coffin on wheels. Eventually, after enduring 10 minutes of jaw-rattling travel, unable to peek outside at the scenery, we finally arrived at Guerrilla Fortress military proving grounds. Hey. This little track is nice. Guerrilla Fortress Annex, military training ground. Hey, look at this place. There's enough space for some training, that's for sure. Wow, action main battle tanks. There are plenty of older model tanks out there too. It even looks like they have airships here. Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Welcome. Oh. Oh, is that his dad? We finally gonna see Craig the Red in the flesh? I don't really know what to expect, but we know it's probably gonna be a really big guy, kind of like Nineheart is in Mueller, especially since Elliot, says he doesn't have the frame for it. He doesn't have the frame of his father. There he is. So that's Elliot's dad? I don't see the family, or I thought that was Elisa. I don't see the family resemblance. Looks like the hair made the jump from father to son though. Wait. Are you guys really saying you don't think Elliot looks like his own father? I get that. Sometimes you look more like your mother. In my case, when I was growing up, people did say I look more like my mother. And then I started hearing people say I look like my father. But to say no resemblance, you don't see the resemblance is kind of crazy. Are y'all going just based on his build? You guys got to stop doing that. Oh, he looks serious. No way, I can see a resemblance. Are they crazy? The eyes and everything. Reporting, Lieutenant General. Very good, Nineheart. An Instructor Valentine, I believe. Pleased to meet you. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Craig. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us for the Academy's curriculum today. Think nothing of it. Any of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Van Dyke. Yeah, he looks badass though. And these must be... What a piercing stare. So this is Craig the Red. Look at Elliot. Elliot does look like his father. Come on, guys. He just has a baby face. Wait, what? Wait, what is this? I did not expect that change. He went from being absolutely serious to putting on the biggest smile of his life. I mean, I guess that's how it should be though. As his son, he's seeing his kiddo. That's great. I'm happy to see that this is what he's like. I was thinking he was about to be really uptight and kind of annoying. Elliot, my boy, it's so good to see you again. Huh? Yo, he's running over. No. Nah, this is sweet. This is what it's all about for me. You guys know I'm big on family stuff. I love this. It must be half a year now since I last saw you. How have you been? That's a sharp looking uniform you got too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. What uniform, Pops? I'm kidding. Dad, come on. You still got a long way to go if you want to put on some real muscle. There's a part of me that hopes you'll stay my little chiru forever. But you're a man of Erebonia, and the men of the Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy. Dad, I can't breathe. I love it, man. Yo, hug him back, Elliot. Stop acting like you can't hug your own pops, man. I feel like everything I've told about him, or I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. I wouldn't be so sure to say all of that. It probably is jarring to see him after hearing, maybe some stories about him. But that doesn't mean that stuff you heard about him was a cap. Let's not do that. Maybe he's just happy to see his son. There do seem to be some differences from the stories. You kidding me? He seems like a cool guy. That's where I'm at. Yeah, Crow is me. Look at Sarah. What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major. Words fail me. Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona. Damn, you about to snitch? Elliot look like he snitches. Damn, he really, he got scared. I mean, that's what it'd be like that, because Fiona, the woman of the house, you guys always think we're in charge of stuff. Unfortunately not. That's not the case. That never has been the case, guys. Give it up. Moving right along. Lieutenant General ḥ'Love Craig. I'm Lieutenant General ḥ'Love Craig, commander of the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Likewise, sir. It's a pleasure, sir. You've got one heck of a dad, Elliot. Believe me, I feel it in the bones. Now, let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored regiments at the formation center, infantry, armored cars, and airships will work in tandem, using their maneuverability to the fullest to obliterate the targets. As our targets today, we'll be using previous model tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopilot functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they've only been armed with paint bullets. However, all the other regiments taking part in today's exercise have been equipped with live ammunition. So you intend to actually destroy the other tanks? I mean, that's one way to show the might of these new models. It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. We'll now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored Divisions 4 and 5 commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and the Imperial Army. Begin. Yes, sir. Yeah, listen to his music. Fifth Armored Division, Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment follow their lead. I feel like we heard this track before, though, haven't we? But it was only like once. I could be mistaken. 4th Armored Division, Armored Regiment, and Infantry Regiment advance together. Armored Car Regiment deploy to the left and right. Yo, getting a chance to see all of this is crazy. Damn. Now that's crazy. That's overkill. Got the airships up too. The might of the Empire is something indeed. Then we got chairs out sitting like this is casual old time. Everybody's probably like, what the fuck? Wow! It's certainly potent. So this is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war. You said those tanks are called Achtzehns. Yeah, they're a type of main battle tank the Reinford Company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power firsthand tells you what numbers and decimal points don't. They might be the strongest heavy tanks on the continent. Shit, might. And the Imperial Army's got a couple of hundred of those in the wings, huh? That's kinda crazy. You try fighting things like these head on, you won't stand a chance. That's as true for our own nation as it is for others. I just can't get used to this. Just the sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me start shaking. I don't think that's something you should get used to. I mean, if the sound of guns and warfare ever stopped bothering you, I'd be worried. That's facts. That when you're pretty far off. Must be what it's like though when you're in a military or even as Jaegers. They get used to the life they live too. Green. Oh! What the hell? What? Yo, this is starting to happen a lot more often. Is it because he's been using that power that it's happening this often? What's the cause of it? At first I was trying to tie it into the Guardian stuff, the door, and then he does it when he sees the Chancellor, and now it's just happening now. I guess this is another kind of strength. I really can't get a gauge on what's wrong with him. Strength, huh? In parentheses. Is that the cause for his chest, though? I'm not really sure. That was a lot to take in. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. And look at all this rubble. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress where Major Neinhardt outlined the results of the training exercise. After that, nighttime. Man, I can't imagine sleeping in a place like this. I feel like everything just feels too isolated. Even if you're in the room with others, just the walls and everything. Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it. We're the guests here after all. Thanks for your consideration. At the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hash beef day.
That's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Oh, just the smell's making me hungry.
Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her.
She went to see the fortress commander with Instructor Neinhardt. She did ask us to eat without her tonight.
Ah, right. Well, she's with Major Neinhardt. It's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. It'd be enough if they just had Craig the Red, but they've got the Major too, and he's kinda scary.
Like a division of muscle men.
Yeah, anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your Ashby's gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys. See ya. This does look a hell of a lot more edible than what we had earlier.
Wow, it's actually delicious. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch.
You're telling me.
Ah, come on guys, what's with all the gloomy faces?
Probably because of what we just witnessed, Milliam.
You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook? What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand it, at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned in our time at the academy been for nothing?
Absolutely not. Are you crazy? It's all those experiences that's going to shape you in the future anyway, Marcus. You can't look at just this one thing that took place and try to feel like everything you've been doing this whole time is for nothing. First of all, you're military students first and foremost. But yeah, things are going to be different here in our damn military.
Academics, the arts, and individual skill in combat. None of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If all you're looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those.
All you'd need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry, and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well and a strategy that employs them effectively, I suppose.
The Achtzehns are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be too. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines. Well, I don't think that means individual combat skill doesn't matter at all.
Still, I think maybe we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in that military exercise today was power in its purest form. It has no morality of its own. It exists to bring about a result regardless of the ideals or principle of those who wield it. Facts. Like power like that is real dangerous, man. You could go around throwing your weight around.
That's true. In a sense, the same could be said of a sword or a gun. And all the way on up to something as huge as Grelia's railway guns too. I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place.
They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion.
Well, looks like you didn't wait for me to start the party.
Sarah. Instructor Sarah?
So you spoke with the commander? Sure did. I've got up-to-date info on the trade conference too, as well as the latest on the terrace. So there's new information about the Imperial Liberation Front? Anyway, before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture where I'll bring you up to speed on the info I just mentioned. After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns.
We get to view the railway guns, huh?
I see. Looking forward to that. Sounds like we've got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of military, whether that military is large or small. Guerrilla Fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy to understand form. As students of Military Academy, you have the obligation to know that the scale of power the Empire of Erebonia wields at present, a power you might one day be in charge of yourselves. What? Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hash beef rice.
That's what you came back for, huh?
I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day.
We should probably finish eating.
Yeah, though it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go and ask for seconds.
Yeah, before you think about asking for seconds, why don't you finish what you already have on your plate? It just seems like you haven't touched the damn thing, Milliam.
Ooh, useless. If you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it?
I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. Yo, why does she all... I think what it is, I think Milliam might have a crush on Uses. It has to be that. It has to be something similar to that. Because people that bother others that don't want to be bothered, they usually tend to like that person. Especially around her age. I don't think I could really get asleep here. Like this will be probably one of the, first of all, I already have insomnia, so it's hard enough to sleep just normally. But in an environment like this, yeah, I'm not getting a wink of sleep. Okay, that should do it. All right, that covers today's quota. Ugh, I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the orbital net. They've got everything hooked up on the network over in Crosswell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wired connection to make use of. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. That's true, because Crossbow is such a small area. But man, talking about the orbital net is such a throwback. The only thing it really makes me think about though is Yona. And when I think about Yona, I think about that damn song that plays every time. It sounds like a fucking ringtone. Huh? An orbital mail. It looks like it's from the HQ. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This right here is the problem with the orbital net. There's no such thing as off hours when they can just send you orders around the clock. So what happened? Huh? What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we gotta outfit 20 Achtzehns with C units by tomorrow. 20. Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. Waiting for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by freight just this evening. Exactly 20 if you can believe it. Damn. This was set up from the start. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Crap. At least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. Want anything? $8:31 on a Tuesday. I can't lie, as interesting as it is to be a guerrilla fortress, and seeing all this military stuff and whatnot, it's kind of burning me out already. Like, this place is too stuffy for my taste. Guerrilla Fortress Crossbell stateside. Which, honestly, it's a good thing. The fact that the game makes me feel this way is a good thing. Because like all of this is just overwhelming for me personally. Like I felt, hell, you guys know, I felt overwhelmed back in Liberal when they pulled up on us, you know, one-eyed Zex and them. I was already overwhelmed by that. And then just all the stuff taking place in Crossbell. And last, after what seemed like enough adventure to fill a week, we reached the final day of our field study. Over in Crossbell State, they were busy preparing for today's keynote session at the trade conference. We spent the morning running through the Imperial Army's physical fitness program alongside some of the soldiers. And after completing it, no easy task, I might add, we sat down to a lukewarm redux of yesterday's lunch. Ugh. That afternoon, during our special military science lecture, we were presented with a confidential report on the terrorists. The Imperial Liberation Front is in Crossbell? That's right, or at least that's what the Intelligence Division believes. And they are right to believe that. It looks like a known terrorist organization from Calvert Republic has turned up in Crossbell too. The situation over there is pretty touch and go right now. Oh no. What are the authorities doing? Everything they can, naturally. However, operations are being handled solely by the intelligence division. They refuse to tell the Imperial Army anything, just that they have a trusted ally taking care of things.
But who does the intelligence division trust? You've got to know something about this, right, Short Stack? Well, I do, but I can't really tell you anything.
I bet they're like, what? This is the one time we want to actually hear something from you and you're not saying anything, but all the other times you running your mouth blabbering.
I guess it's not a breach of confidentiality to tell you they're a really strong bunch, though. That's still pretty vague. I've got a few ideas.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do got a few ideas, guys. Right, guys. We know, William, what you're most likely referring to, and it's good old-fashioned Red Constellation Jaegers. Yeah, I'll never forget what took place though. Yeah, that was a bloodbath. They made nasty work out of those terrorists, like in a ridiculous fashion. All you seen when you walk in that area, it's just blood everywhere. It's just blood splatter everywhere.
Anyway, there's not much point in us worrying about that right now. The bigger issue is that our terrorists of the hour, the Imperial Liberation Front, are a bigger crew than we thought. Big enough to be in possession of the state-of-the-art military airship at least.
Seriously? An airship? Can we assume Reinford's manufacturer then? Correct. Just how something that large found its way into the hands of insurgents is currently unknown. Oh, trust me, it's not unknown. It's unknown to you guys. But we know Duke Cayenne had his hands all over that. We already know he's in support of the Imperial Liberation Front. And you're not about to get your hands on stuff like that without a big time, supplier. But it seems to be a higher model. But it seems to be a high-speed model, different from the heavily armored types favored by the Imperial Army.
I bet it's from the RF-26 series. There are a number of different models within that series, though.
But if they have an airship, that means they're going to be a whole lot more difficult to catch, doesn't it?
That's exactly what it means. It's basically impossible to keep tabs on them as it is. With an airship in their possession, there's no telling when or where they'll pop up next. That's quite worrying, especially since Prince Oliver is attending the conference.
Yes, and Princess Claudia. Shout out to Chloe. Future Queen. That's the person I'm following. Forget everybody else. Take me back to Liberl.
And Toa's in Crossbow right now too.
Yeah.
Damn, now you've got me worrying.
Right. Like you didn't know any of this beforehand. Toa's been said she was going there. But your little friend Gideon, yeah, Gideon wouldn't care regardless. But I mean, I guess I can understand. The only reason I feel like you could give this guy the benefit of the doubt if you wanted to, it's still fucked up regardless because they're going through with it anyway. But one way that you can give Crow the benefit of the doubt is because it's something they probably already had planned out. You know, they already had this stuff planned out. So Toa coming along at the last minute, he would have never known. He wouldn't have known she was going, so. And now that the plan is in motion, he can't really just say stop. Especially when this is a big moment for them. And a chance to take the Chancellor's life, so. Yeah. Like, I get it.
Take it easy. I don't think you have anything to worry about with Gramps and Lecter over there. Well, that aside, if the terrorist's attention is currently focused on Crossbell, does that mean the Empire is effectively safe right now? You raise a good point, Laura. They did target Princess Alphen during the summer festival last month. It's possible it's just a feint. Maybe they just want us to believe they're targeting the Chancellor.
Yeah, which makes sense why, well, Sarah is about to say what I was about to speak on about what Clara's saying to the RMP.
The Railway Military Police thought so too, which is why they increased the security level here at home.
Yeah, that's why you can see how tense it was when we got off the trains and stuff. With all the RMP on that one side.
The Emperor and everyone else connected to the Imperial family should be safe. They've also beefed up security anywhere that seems short-handed.
As well prepared as ever, I see. At any rate, you finally uncovered some information on the terrorist identities, correct?
That's right, though once again we have the Intelligence Division to thank for that.
Yo, look at her expression. She hates it. She hates having to give those clowns any sort of credit. Specifically Claire. If you turn your attention to the screen, please. What are they about to show us? Gideon. Yo, look at his face. He has such a snake face. I know that face. Gee.
That's the man who kidnapped Princess Alphen and Elise in Heimdall. Not to mention he tried to start a war with Calvert in the Nord Highlands.
So, who is he?
His full name is Michael Gideon. He used to be an assistant professor at the Imperial Academy in Heimdall.
An assistant professor, huh? That man a teacher?
So, an academic. Right, his focus was political philosophy.
Why is that so fitting? Why do I have a political philosophy, huh? But I get it though. Gideon is, we don't know anything about S and V. I mean, Crow, we're starting to understand a bit now that we know he's from Jirai and stuff, but we still don't have a full picture about him. But Gideon, now seeing that he was into, you know, political philosophy and stuff, I feel like I said it before. I think it was around when Gideon was heading off to Crossbell to leave. But he is the one that I feel is the real heart of the group. I know C is the leader, But I think Gideon is like the soul of the Imperial Liberation Front, because he probably sees the Chancellor. The Chancellor is probably the biggest op in his eyes out of everybody. Anything you can think of, he probably just has has grasped what the nation will, what this empire will turn into with the Chancellor at helm. That's what I was saying about him back then. I was like, this dude probably just sees through him. He sees the bullshit. So he might even not. I'm not saying he's not a bad person, but I'm just saying he might just be. He might have been a good person. He just couldn't take all of this, what he thought was going to take place. He might be looking at something far ahead than everyone else. His vision is probably just ahead of everybody else. And no, I'm not. Make no mistake, I'm not agreeing with what he's doing. He's a fucking terrorist. There's no mistake in that. And he'll have to pay for it. But I'm just saying that stuff like that can change how someone is.
3 years ago, he was dismissed from this position due to his intense criticism of Chancellor Osborne's hardline policies.
Not surprised. See, that's what I'm saying. I called his hand during that conversation when he was leaving off with crossbow. Like, this dude right here, he sees something that everybody else doesn't about the Chancellor.
Oh. So getting laid off set him on the road to terrorism?
I don't really think that's really the case.
Well, it sounds like the actual reason he was let go was because he was handing out tracts and flyers in public. You'll find these kinds of idealists at the heart of most terrorist groups, though. In the seeding group with their core ideology, the twist is to be even more militant and radical. You can't even reason with them either. Yeah, they just don't know when to give up. Sounds like some other groups I know.
Look at his face. Yeah. Hey, he's right though. He is right. Like, it's funny. It's funny to talk one-sided about someone or a group, even if it's terrorists. I'm always gonna keep it 100. I'm blunt as fuck. This is why I tell people all the time, you might end up having a problem with me with certain things that I say. I might say something about a character you love or like, but if I say it, I meant it. And I just want you to know that. It's not because I'm trying to hate on somebody or something, or I'm trying to be the person that disagrees. I just like to see stuff for what it is. And I'll be honest about it. But he's right. This line that he said, this is true. Doesn't mean he's in the right. Our terrorist friend here, who is probably C, doesn't mean he's in the right. Well, let's not act like other groups aren't as radical or doing crazy shit too. That's why you can't say anything back to him. It's the truth. The hell?
So, do we know anything about the others?
We crossed paths with what I can only assume were 3 other key members last month in Heimdall. Yep, C, V, and S. Yes, S, V, and C.
It seems like they haven't been able to dig up much on those 3 yet. Their strongest lead right now is that V may have belonged to a Jaeger Corps.
Yeah, because V was the one that was, he had something to say about Fee. That's where I was like, oh, he must be familiar with Fee. So it would make sense for him to tie him into a Jaeger Corps. Interesting.
He was toting around this machine gun that looked like it should have been mounted on a vehicle. Did he seem at all familiar to Yuffie? Not really.
And it's not like you can remember everyone you might have crossed paths with. Maybe she didn't. Maybe he just knew about them, especially since she's a part of Zephyr. You know, Zephyr and the Red Constellation being the two biggest of the Jaeger groups. Of course, people are going to know them and probably who is among their groups.
They're working on narrowing down the identity of S2, but it's too early to make any informed statements. The real unknown is their leader C.
The one who visored the helmet. Or the one with the visored helmet.
I heard he was able to go toe-to-toe with Ring, Laura, and Fee simultaneously. I almost find it hard to believe.
Oh, well, you better believe it.
I don't. I imagine there are plenty of people in the Empire who could do so.
It goes without saying that the Radiant Blade Master could fend the three of us off without much of a problem. But I bet Good Mirror Instructor Sarah and Major Nineheart could do it too. I can't say for certain.
Look at Mr. Modesty over there. The Major here is widely held to be one of the strongest up-and-coming officers in the entire army. I've heard people mention him right alongside Major Vander.
Laying it on a little thick today, aren't we?
Going by the family name, it seems safe to assume he's a practitioner of the Vander style of swordsmanship.
No doubt a relative of Lieutenant General Vander from the Zender Gate. Yep. The one-eyed Zex. Well, I would question whether I can stand on equal footing with him. Major Vander is unquestionably strong. He was my classmate during my military academy years and quite close to Prince Albert as well. Of course. In fact, he's in Crosswell right now serving as Prince's bodyguard. Whoa.
Well, that's reassuring to know.
But getting back to the point, it's not just C. We still know very little about their group as a whole. Even their source of funding is a mystery. It's not no fucking mystery to me, sir. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't think of anyone other than Duke Cayenne. Come on now. So even if they're a no-show in Crossville, I doubt we've heard the last of them.
You can call it a coincidence or fate, but you've put the kibosh on their schemes twice now. It's entirely possible they've come to hold a personal grudge against you, so be careful.
That's something important to tell them, because that's true. But to be fair, it's not like we necessarily put a stop to them in Heimdall. Because the stuff worked, everything worked in their favor, because if it didn't, things probably, they would have went about things differently. But they were perfectly fine with what took place. I think C was the one that was saying it was okay, and it could work in their favor. Because trust me, with how strong he was, they really wanted us out of the picture. They could have made it happen by now.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep that in mind.